For more on the protests in Cuba, let's bring in New York Republican Congresswoman and member of the House Transportation and Foreign Affairs Committees, Nicole Malliotakis. She is the daughter of a Cuban immigrant. Congresswoman, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be with you, Mike.
Your colleague Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Thursday said, quote, "The embargo is absurdly cruel and like too many other U.S. policies targeting Latin Americans, the cruelty is the point. I outright reject the Biden administration's defense of the embargo. This is personal for your family and many Cuban-American families. How do you respond?"
What's cruel is the way that the communist regime treats its people. You know, there are two classes in Cuba. One is the ruling class run by the communists, and then there is everyone else who live in squalor. They don't have access to food, they don't have access to medicine, they don't have access to the basic necessities, and it's certainly not because of the embargo. Look, Cuba does business with nearly every country in the world, and for 6 decades they remained a communist regime. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is nothing more than a communist sympathizer who wants to bring socialism to the United States of America, and I'm sure she sympathizes with the regime in Cuba. But the reality is that they use everything that they get when they do business with other countries for the regime. They use it to reward the people in the ruling class. It never gets to the people. And that is why we are not doing business with Cuba. What I will say is that it's incredibly important that the United States of America at this time work with our allies in the international community, the democracies around the world who believe in freedom, and put pressure on this regime. We want to see internet access fully restored on the island so they can communicate with themselves, the Cubans, as well as let the world see the images that are taking place. You have people being beat on the street by the police. You have people being shot at by the regime forces. That is the reality. That's the cruelty that she should be looking to and saying we should not, as Americans, as freedom-loving Americans, accept this.
Do you get a sense that the Cuban regime is hanging on by a thread, and is there an opportunity here, if the Biden administration acts properly, to make history in Cuba?
That's absolutely correct. And what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is proposing in lifting the embargo will do nothing more than prop up this regime at a pivotal moment when we have the opportunity as the leader of the free world to bring liberty, to bring freedom to an island nation that is just 90 miles away from our shores. And so I think there's a lot at stake here, and I am very concerned about what the president's next move would be. I've spoken with the State Department, and I've urged them to work with our neighbors, Mexico, Brazil, work with our NATO allies, work with Canada and other countries that are democracies to push this regime out and bring freedom to the people. That is what they want. That is what they deserve. I know that the people there firsthand are struggling immensely under this communism. And the reality is, you know, communism's not good for anyone, and neither is socialism.
Let's talk a little New York politics. We know there's been an ongoing sexual harassment investigation against your governor, Andrew Cuomo. He went in to testify this weekend. We haven't heard a whole lot about that, but do you get a sense that maybe we are near the end of that investigation at this point?
Yes, they have interviewed senior staff members in his administration. They have interviewed the governor himself, all under oath, and we should expect a report from the Attorney General soon. And that, I think, will determine the governor's political future. I, among many others, Republicans and Democrats, have called already for the governor to resign strictly because of the way he mishandled the nursing home during the pandemic that have led to 15,000 seniors dying in the nursing homes, putting positive patients in those nursing homes instead of the alternative facilities that he himself had set up and never used. So I believe that this report will be very interesting. I do believe the governor is on thin ice right now politically. The majority of people within his own party don't want him to run for re-election. And I think that Congressman Lee Zeldin has a very strong case to be made as the governor tries to take a 4th term, which is, I believe the governor's outdoing his welcome. Look, his father tried to run for a 4th term and was beat by little-known George Pataki, then became a 3-term governor himself. So I think this is an opportunity for us to change course here. And it's not just those issues. It is the way he has increased crime tremendously in New York State with the radical bail law that continues to release individuals convicted of crimes back onto our streets. It's the way he's mishandling taxpayer money, giving billions to those who are in the country illegally instead of the citizens that really need help here in New York. So there's a lot here that I think the governor is going to be judged on in the 2022 election. Congresswoman
Nicole Malliotakis of the great state of New York, thanks so much for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.